This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This morning, let us explore equanimity, the seventh of 7 enlightenment factors. There is a cause and effect for equanimity. What do we mean by cause and effect? Well, we don't mean something spooky. We don't mean something supernatural. We mean something quite simple, like if you eat 3 milkshakes a day, you'll probably gain weight. If you replace 3 milkshakes with 3 tall glasses of water, you'll probably lose weight. That type of thing. Simple cause and effect. So what do we mean by remedial equanimity? What that means is we don't squander our time and energy trying to make things just so. We don't say, okay, what is the remedy for fear? And then what is the remedy for laziness? And then what is the remedy for rage? And then what is the remedy for despair? We use a single remedy for all that we experience. That remedy comes in 2 parts. And that remedy is mindfulness and meditation working together as a pair, kind of like Batman and Robin. So we're going to begin with the neuroscience of mindfulness, because that's the easiest way to cut through the entangled web of preconceptions. So we'll begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, could be described pretentiously as the nexus of our sympathetic nervous system. This middle bit has evolved to help us to notice in a special way. This middle bit has evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. The full spectrum, everything, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. And now, how about a rule of thumb? The most efficient way for us to notice the antics of mind is for us to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this every time we feel our body inhale. The question remains, however, although it is inferred, what do we do with all that stuff that we noticed? That brings us to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, evolution has already wired us to automatically access the tippy top as well as the bottom of our spinal cord. These two as a pair function as the nexus of our parasympathetic nervous system. And they function to help us to physically relax and mentally release during our exhalation to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, way back in 4th grade, my teacher told me that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand? And so we see that emptiness is simply a metaphor to describe the fleeting experience of non-graspability latent within each exhalation. So this set of practices, I should go back one more. So here's what's important to realize. Although when we go back 300,000 years, our Paleolithic ancestors enjoyed a proto-communism, a culture of proto-communism that reinforced our human tendencies to be flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Even though that happened approximately 13 to 10,000 years ago during the Neolithic Revolution, the advent of proto-capitalism turned everything on its head and began reinforcing the darker human tendencies to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. That's where we're living right now as we are enduring the death throes of late-stage capitalism. All of us have been trained to be rigid and controlling and to sincerely believe that if it's to be, it's up to me. It makes perfect sense to us, blinded as we are, when 90% of meditation teachers implore us to actively focus and actively analyze. I'm very grateful for the presence of neuroscience that brings to our attention that when we overwork both our medial as well as dorsolateral prefrontal cortices, we begin presenting with symptoms of depression, no less triggering our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Something that is very much at the heart of the quote-unquote so-called male loneliness epidemic. When you are neurotic and cranky, it makes us a lot less lovable. I think you would agree. Fortunately, when we take a relaxing break from our exhausting tendencies to actively compete against our autonomic nervous system and instead passively cooperate with it, the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala is calmed. The empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated, and we drink deeply of peace. So this is the remedy, this set of actions of simply breathing in and breathing out in cooperation with our autonomic nervous system is the one remedy for everything, for every condition, for every circumstance, for every physical experience, for every interpersonal experience, for every mental experience. The effect is transcendent equanimity. How does that work? Well, let's start with something superficial like perception. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever ugliness or beauty we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just a sight. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever harmony or discord we might have heard during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sound. And so it isn't that we've stopped perceiving the differences in the world around us, is that we are, during exhalation, we've processed a way of balancing them viscerally, automatically. This is not limited to perceptions. This affects everything, including emotions. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever peace or anxiety we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just emotional energy. And so we come to feel that this emotional energy is simply that which turns the wheels and gears of our metaphoric enlightenment machine. You see, meditation is nothing more than, as I mentioned a few moments ago, taking a break from the exhausting habit of actively fighting against our own autonomic nervous system, and instead taking a few minutes to passively cooperate with it. Doing so, this mindfulness and meditation have tremendous fringe benefits. Setting aside some time once every 12 hours to notice and relax in harmony with our breathing causes the remaining 6 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path to take care of themselves. Notice and relax in harmony with our breathing, and we cannot help but notice change in the fleeting experience of non-graspability. Notice and relax in harmony with our breathing, and we cannot help but intend kindly, communicate kindly, conduct ourselves kindly, and practice commerce kindly. Passively cooperate with our inhalations and our exhalations once every 12 hours, and we cannot help, and our choices and utterances and deeds cannot help but flow from love's deeply centered spontaneity. No, not from contrived calculations, neither from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is the effortless effort, the Wu Wei, the going with the flow, the being in the zone that so many performance specialists describe. All this is the effortless byproduct of simply noticing and relaxing in cooperation with our phases of breath. That is why the Buddha insisted that one could master his path. One could practice the Eightfold Path spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively in as little as 7 days. This is the enlightenment the Buddha spoke of. Nothing mystical, nothing magical, just coming to master a new set of tools. Arguably, the set of tools that we were already evolved to use, but that we have been conditioned into disuse. And so there you have it. The key to transcendent equanimity is to apply the remedy of mindfulness and meditation to all that we encounter as skillfully as we can. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For meditating like a Jedi is made possible due to the generosity of our thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, I would very much like to sit and breathe and notice and relax with you. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our lower abdomen is for us to rest the lowest knuckle of our right middle little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Let us play with a variation of Bengali crease counting to time our meditation. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, let's advance our right thumb up the creases of our fingers, beginning with our right little finger. Let us do this together right now as a team. Having run out of creases upon which to rest my right thumb, it becomes necessary to advance my left thumb up to its next set of creases. And so you get the basic idea of how one could count multiple sets on one's left hand of 12 inhalations on our right hand. That comes in handy because counting 12 inhalations takes approximately a minute. And so it's possible to count to at least 12 sets of 12 inhalations each during upon our left hand. Due to time constraints, I'm only going to count about 10 sets on my left hand. But you get the basic idea. The moment you have a specific question about the philosophies or techniques that support meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 5 minutes or so. The most efficient way to gently invite our uh, subtle energies to coalesce at our crown is to rest the first knuckle, the lower knuckle of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce behind our navel is for us to rest the lower knuckle of our right middle finger. Oopsie, that was a mistake. Our lower knuckle of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger. Okay, so we're going to rest the first knuckle at the base of our right ring finger on the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our heart or our chest is for us to rest the lower knuckle of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to today's evening lesson and group practice wherein we each meditate like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.